Welcome to Service Six Sigma, and you are here early. So what we're doing, we just go live around 10 minutes before the hour, and that gives the algorithms a chance for YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram to let people know that we are live with service6sigma.com. And we will have a different guest every day, and we have a lot of fun, and we've got a whole lot of history of all the live streams in the service6sigma.com page. So hang around. We try and make this 10 minutes interesting. Hang around till the hour. If you are in replay, fast forward until you see that the scenery has changed, and that will be us starting with the guest. Okay, see you then.
Ben here with Epic Exterior Services and president and co-founder of Service Six Sigma. Welcome to today's show, Service Six Sigma. Today is going to be a great show, and we want to thank you for hopping on early at 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time is when we go live every day. But you are here early, so we go about 10 minutes early before the show starts, just so that Facebook, YouTube can do its thing in the background. But comment down below where you're at, where you're watching from, if you're in the United States or whatever, what state you're from. So comment down below to let us know where you're watching from. And if you are on the job site and watching or listening to us in your ears or whatever, or headphones, comment down below. Let us know what you're doing, what type of job you're doing, window cleaning or pressure washing or whatever. Let us know how the job is going. We always want to hear how our viewers are doing. We also want you to upload us your TikToks or Instagram Reels or any videos you produce. We would love to play them during this 10 minutes to show people what you're doing out on the job site. So we always want to share what our viewers are doing out in the field. Anyways, stay tuned in and stand by till our show starts. Have an epic day.
Hey, it's Harrison from reach@futureclean.com. Before Ben and Perry go online, well, you may know him as Perry, I know him as Dad. While he's being semi-retired, I've decided that Reach is going to sponsor Service Six Sigma, because it's another way for Perry to be able to give back to the window cleaning industry and service industries in general. So let's get on with the show.
Bada boom. Oh, you're muted, Perry.
I'll unmute me. There I am. Here we are. Whew, Friday night. Yeah, let's go.
That's
Okay,
right.
so tonight, one of my favorite people in the world as an inspiration is Mr. Augie Dugar. He is coming in on work hard, and he works really hard, and then play harder. So, but just before that, I'm going to give a quick rundown on what is Service Six Sigma, so that everybody who's in a little bit early can see it, and then other people have zipped past this. But basically, Service Six Sigma is Ben and mine's little vision for the service industry. So it's not just window cleaning, pressure washing, roof cleaning, exterior services. It's actually the whole service industry. And what we see is the possibility that we can start getting great ideas in how to perfect aspects of business, so we can get them from different parts of the service industry and cross-pollinate, and we can all improve. So where does Six Sigma come from? Well, Six Sigma is a business term, and it's the perfecting of process and ultimately the perfecting of the entire business by the elimination of known mistakes. In other words, so there's always expect the unexpected, and the stuff that happens that you don't know and has never happened before in your business. And then it's having had that happen, fixing that until you end up with close to perfect business, which the airline industry is meant to be Six Sigma, and the nuclear industry is meant to be Six Sigma. So then what we did is we broke business up into 6 sectors so that we can focus our Sigma, right? So they are really quickly attract. That's our influencer, how we get the customer. Yeah. So the social media, door hangers, all the marketing stuff is in attract. Having attracted somebody, we need to convert them. So are we using something automated like Responsibid, or are we going out to the door, or are we doing it over the phone with Google Earth and things like that? So and then what's that sales process? What do we say when they say no, and what do they say if it's too high, and all that? So that's the sales process. Having sold them, we now need to deliver the service. So that's your tools, techniques, safety on site, route management, all in that delivery sector. And now you've actually getting yourself super busy, and you need to start controlling. So that's your CRM, your systems and processes, your training, your standard operating procedures, and all the stuff that makes the business well documented. The letters for that is ACDC: attract, convert, deliver, control. ACDC, stairway to heaven. That's how you're going to remember it. That's my alarm going off. So having got all of these pieces, you're now ready to scale. That's where you go to multiple trucks, and having scaled, we get this chance to go to give back, which is what people like Augie are doing with us right now. So that he adds value. We're going to add value in a conversation to see how we can help anybody get life and work completely out of balance. Right, Augie?
Hey, that's the goal, right? Get it really messed up, because that makes
really
it interesting.
messed up.
Just whacked out. That makes it interesting, right? Life's not meant to be boring. Normal is a setting on your washing machine, as they say. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, fantastic. I'm so happy to have you in this, because you really. We have the Augie test. Jason was on. Jason Hatch was on.
I will tell you, you guys actually bagged me, because I've had multiple offers. I've had like 5 different people like, be on my live stream. I'm like, nah, I don't do that. I'm good. Perry came. I'm like, I got a lot of respect for Perry. I was actually just talking to JC. I guess JC's coming up next week for you.
Yeah,
we were talking about you. We have a lot of respect for you in the industry, because you've come a long way, and I've been there for that, and I remember
you did. Yeah.
There was times where I was yelling and screaming at Perry Tate.
Yep.
And
yep.
we had some words, and we butted heads a little bit, and then we were able to set that aside and become friends. And it's like, hey, it's okay.
Yes.
And I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with the Dunning-Kruger curve, where you're on Child's Hill, and then there's this. I was literally the king of the hill on the Dunning-Kruger curve, because I thought the world revolved around me, and this is my world. And if anything didn't go right, it was their fault. Perry Tate happened to be Perry's fault, because he was also in the process of growing and scaling his company, which is always perfect. Nothing ever goes wrong.
Nothing goes wrong. No humans in our company.
I think we were both in the process of that, and the world revolved around me. I had some. It was bad, and then through the course of experience and knowledge, I was able to set that stuff aside, be like, oh wait, no, nothing is perfect in life, and we need to figure this out. But I have the most admiration for you because you just persevere through all of that. No matter what it is, you've always taken the high road on everything, and there's a lot to be said about that. So
Thank you, mate.
that's
Thank
why I'm
you.
here. That's why you got me. So
Wow, great. Well, and you know, I mean, life in itself is humbling, and the more you live life, you know, which is what this is all about, is how, you know, how to live life to the fullest. But the more you live life, I think the more humble you get, because you realize, you know, shit does happen. You know, oh God, Johnny Haslam's on he's down under in the south of New Zealand, but he's live. He's in the background. But John was our salesman
I
back in
remember
those
John.
days,
Yep.
yeah, old Kiwi John. And then we just go, shit, like, you know, we really like if any product can survive Augie, I'll show you. I'll show you. Right? I'll show you. Like, we'll talk. You keep talking, and I just was
I mean,
scrolling
you can
through
pretty much
our
mail me
chat.
anything, and if it survives me, it's bulletproof. That's it. I mean, I'm so hard on stuff because, you know, back before I had scaled my company, it was just me on a truck.
Yeah.
And I was working 6 to 7 days a week. I mean, I think when I maxed out, when I finally started scaling, I was racked out at close to $500K a year solo on a truck. I was making damn near $500,000 by myself. It's unheard of in the industry. I mean, I would do $2,500 days by myself. But I mean, I was never home. I didn't do anything. Then I had my daughter. Once I had my daughter, the metric changed. Like all of a sudden I was like, okay.
And, oh, wonderful.
I mean, you know, this is me. I showed up in a neck brace for 9 months going, hi, I'm here to clean your windows because I broke my back and my neck. You know, like nothing stopped me. But the thing that did stop me was family and having my daughter. And I was like, okay, now shit has to change. This has to go. I need to take a step out and I need to start growing this thing. And that's ultimately what it took. You know, and the work hard play. I mean, this whole topic is perfect for me because I'm definitely an advocate of that, which is kind of where this is how I'm finding my guys, right? Because essentially I have to take a step back and be, would I work for me? What would I want?
Right.
Because essentially I want to replicate myself, right? And I'm the guy that's going to be out there just busting ass and do it. So I need to replicate myself. Well, how do I do that? How do I attract that person? I need people that want to work hard, but they're going to play harder. That's the employee that I'm looking for. So how do we attract that employee? Well, the first thing I did was go to a 4-10 schedule. My guys have 3-day weekends because your work hard, play hard, A player wants to go out. I want guys that are rock climbing. I want guys that are racing dirt bikes. I want guys that, you know, have love for extreme sports and being active, skiing, snowboarding, whatever. You cannot get that from a 2-day weekend. You cannot decompress from work. But that one extra day is everything because, like, if you want to go camping, let's say that Augie's working for another company and I want to go camping and it's 65 miles away from my house. Well, I'm going to get off work on Friday. Maybe I'm going to drive out Friday night and set up camp, and then I'm going to do my thing, and then Sunday I'm going to have to go home. I did not have time to decompress in that. Whereas if I have that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, now I can leave Thursday. I have my Friday to decompress. I have my Saturday to enjoy. And I have my Sunday to pack up and go home, to where now I've detoxified myself from the work week and I'm ready to go. So I've watched my numbers scream up. My production is screamed up. My guys are 100% invested. They're on board. They're all in it to win it. They're right by my side, to where I have a crew of 10 right now that's just rock stars. Like, these guys are solid. And it's by the little things like that with the culture. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm taking my guys out every quarter. We're doing something fun. We did Dirtfish Rally School. I said, when we hit 7 figures, we're going to go to Dirtfish Rally School. I said, so let's hit 7 figures. So you cost Augie a bunch of money, and sure as shit, we actually smashed it and hit 1.6 this year. So I took everybody to Dirtfish Rally School, and we did hot laps around, and it was fun.
Tell us about what's Dirtfish Rally School. What do they get to do?
It's a rally racing school. So you literally get in a rally car.
So Dirtfish is the brand. It's not Dirtfish and Rally. Right.
Travis Pastrana comes out. Travis Pastrana is actually really frequented in my hometown. You see him quite often. He's actually has a car out there. Ken Block, before Ken Block passed away, he would always be in town. It's one of the #1 rally racing schools in the United States. I think it might actually be the only rally racing school in the United States. It's pretty badass. The track is in video games. You can play this track in video games, so it's pretty cool.
No way.
So that was a hell of a motivating goal. I think we were at about 650K when I set that goal, and I set that incentive, and then we smashed to 1.6. So it definitely gave fuel to the fire, and everybody got to go out to rally racing school. We did that. We did indoor skydiving. My next event coming up, we are working with a large casino up in the Pacific Northwest, and I've actually challenged the casino's staff to a go-kart race with my staff. So we're going to race the casino, and winner takes all.
Fantastic.
The other thing that we do is we're going to do airsoft matches and paintball matches with different companies. Jacob Daly with Lakeview Pro Wash. We got one. We haven't met up on it yet, but we're going to do a paintball. I got my wrap company. We've challenged them to an airsoft duel. Stuff like that, just to keep it engaged and keep it fun. That's what it's about, and that builds culture, and it just keeps guys intrigued and invested.
So where are you looking? Where you got to shop in the right shop. I always say, when we're, and I love the way you introduce this, because a lot of people don't understand that in the sales process, there are two people selling and one buys the other person. Even if you go to the door like this, I'm going to bring it down to something simple. You go to the door and say, "Hey, I'd like to clean your windows," and they go, "No, thanks," and you believe, "No, thanks." They sold you.
Yeah.
So when in every aspect in life, sales is actually two people selling, and if you realize that you're being sold, even though you think you're the one with the sale, then you start to understand. And then now that I know that I'm selling, you're selling a job, right? You think they're trying to get a job. Right. So now, you're selling a job. Now you've got to shop, or you're buying a person. Maybe it's the other way around, so are you shopping in the right shop? So where's the shop that you find these extreme sports guys?
So, honestly, Indeed is where we're finding most of them. So I have Indeed is where we're getting some applicants, but then a lot of it's word of mouth, because my guys have literally recruited their friends.
Yes.
I have buddies that have brought in their friends, and they brought in their friends. And that's where, when you get somebody that is so on fire with their position, it bleeds out. And their buddies are like,
Yes.
I'm miserable. I'm fucking miserable at my job.
Yeah.
Why are you so happy? Bro, I work for Augie. We got to go skydiving.
Yeah.
Like, you have
Hell
no idea.
yeah.
I work 410s, and I don't have to walk on eggshells at my shop. There is no oh God, what's the office? I'm thinking of the HR. There is no HR department. I mean, we kind of do have a little bit of an HR,
you got to have a little bit. Yeah.
But our HR is still pretty cool. Like, we're, I nothing is a big deal unless somebody's hurt, right? It's not. I mean, I had a guy roll a bucket truck today. Literally, I got a picture. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, and my guy goes, "I rolled the bucket truck," and I'm like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Number one thing above anything else, are you okay? He goes, "I'm scared shitless, but I'm okay." He goes, "I think I twisted my thumb. That was it." I'm like, okay, you're okay. We'll get a tow truck out. It's not a big deal. Don't freak out about stuff. And the other thing, like, I don't have any room for drama in my company. I don't have any room for, like, I don't yell and scream at my guys. I don't micromanage my guys. I have a parameter of what I need done in the time that I think it should be done. And if everything fits in that parameter, I'm good. I don't need to look at every single thing. I don't need to have a magnifying glass over their back, tracking tracking everything. Like, no, I'm good. You need to spend 15 minutes at a gas station or take a shit. Okay, whatever. I don't care. You need to go grab a snack in the middle of the day. Whatever. I don't care. As long as the job is done from point A to point B in the time that I've kind of set, we're good. Stuff gets out of that parameter, we have a discussion. Like, hey, this didn't really go so well. What went wrong? How could we have done this better? And try and throw all that, because nothing ever gets solved unless everything's thrown on the table and you can converse about it and talk about it. Otherwise, nothing's ever done. So I try to take all the ugly shit. I might hand out. I literally have hurt feelings check sheets in my office. And if I'm going to have a talk with somebody, I will literally hand them a hurt feelings check sheet. I'll be like, you can fill this out and you can submit that to the office when we're done. because there's no hurt feelings here. Like it's all fine. It's business. Like nothing's going to be, you're not going to hurt my feelings by saying anything. Right. So just be on the board with everything, be straight up with everything. And it's worked pretty good so far.
That is amazing. I want to show you this, Augie, just for a laugh.
What is that? Oh God.
That's one of our, that's you destroyed.
Truck.
Yeah, that's meant to be straight up and down, and it didn't survive it, so.
Oh, I beat the shit out of that thing. I still have pieces of that. I haven't let it go.
Right.
I have pieces. I have the filter cartridges. I'm like, I'm kind of a hoarder when it comes to equipment, and it's a good and a bad thing because I got shit laying everywhere. But then
you can rebuild shit.
Yep. Wait, I need that. Thank God I've had that for 8 years. We're good.
Yeah. This is 2017. You sent me this. What's up with this plastic, man? It falls apart of my hands.
I fucking hated those things. Literally, I took it out of the package and it broke. And I think that's what I was so because I was on a job and I had no other equipment on the truck. Like that was the only thing that I had, and it didn't work. And I'm like, well, now I got to get up and ladder. And I had other jobs after that because literally I would compact my day to where I had zero margin for error. There was no, and that's why my stress level was so high, is because I was racked out making as much money as I could, that if something went wrong, like it literally it screwed the next 3 appointments, which then domino affected into my week, into my
the next day, and then
it was bad. So that's why like my stress level was here, and I would just snap at everything. But the older I get, the more that I've realized that tolerance is a key virtue. And life is never going to be perfect, and there has to be tolerance, and there has to be, orchestrated like tolerance. Like you have to design your day for tolerance, especially when it comes to employees. Like you have to design your day around shit's not going to go right. It's not going to go perfect. There's no way, it's always going to go haywire, and that's what you have to plan for. You have to plan for the worst and hope for the best, but most likely it's going to land somewhere in the middle. And that's kind of what I've done. And my stress level has come down so much. The other thing that I've learned is if you think of yourself like a 60-watt light bulb, and the energy that comes into you, you can only manage 60 watts of energy and 60 watts of stress. Your capacity is 60 watts. That's it. Your vessel is that small. If you expand your vessel, and as you grow and scale, this is a mandatory thing. You have to be able to expand your vessel to take 240 watts of bullshit, because it's no longer going to be coming from one avenue. Now I have 10 avenues for this coming in. So if I were a 60-watt vessel, I would have exploded and had a fucking coronary heart attack a long time ago. But now I'm like 240. Like I got a Kevlar shell, and I'm this big, and I have 10 avenues of problems coming in, and it's okay. And I can deal with this. It's not a problem, and that's personally, I like to learn these lessons the hard way. And I think that's the only way for me. Because I was talking to JC about this. I'm like, look, if you eat something that tastes like shit, there's a high chance that you're probably not going to eat that again. So if it really sucks and it really hurts, most likely you're not going to repeat it. So I kind of like those, because it's a school of hard knocks, and it definitely, it works. It works,
And Augie, like what you're talking about is kind of like if you imagine, when we call this business, like this set of podcasts, like Service Six Sigma, and Six Sigma is the business term of the elimination of things that can go wrong. Because you find out they go wrong. You try and build your business and nothing can go wrong, but things go wrong, as we talk about. And then you try and build systems and processes to reduce the risk of those going wrong. That's the process of and towards Six Sigma. And it's interesting to hear you talk about that, going from, and you can see you going from one-man band and going into scale and having to have systems and processes, having to have systems that handle, it's not what goes wrong, it's how do you handle what goes wrong. If an engine
when
blows
it goes
out
wrong, and how do we react to this?
Yeah, the thing, do you if the engine goes out on a Boeing and you got 2 engines now, in the old days they'd have 3 or 4, but now they can fly with 1. So now you've got 1 engine, you're super efficient, and you don't have big carbon footprint, but you've only got 1 engine left. What do you do?
Yeah.
That's got to be our process. And that's,
hopes and prayers.
I watched on Facebook today a guy, he was a tourist helicopter pilot in Hawaii.
I saw that, and he auto-rotated down on the beach.
Yeah, he's flown it down like this, spun it up like that to get his blades to spin, 4 people on board, and landed on the beach. It crumpled a bit, but like 1 damaged person and 4 live people. Like everybody lived. What? See, that's what we're talking about, isn't it, Augie? Not crashing the plane, but knowing what to do. Yeah, it's going down.
I was talking to somebody today, like, how many times I wanted to burn this business to the ground, and it's getting better. Like, I don't think I had the idea of burning it to the ground today, and I'm like, no, nobody got hurt, so I'm not going to burn it to the ground today. But it's as you get more experience, like those intervals get longer, because there was days where it was like every 3 hours I wanted to burn it to the ground. Like, I don't want to play this game anymore. It's not fun. I want to go check out. Like, I'm over this. Like, head in your hands, just what did I do? Why am I doing this? I don't really have anything else to do, so I'm stuck here. So why, and you just get to this, but then you start to work through these processes, and you start to build systems to negate the problems and to fix them ahead of time.
Yes.
You start to be proactive instead of reactive, and it just gets better to where now, like, maybe every 3 weeks, I might consider going and doing sales for somebody else instead of like every 3 hours. And then, and that just gets better and better and better.
That is amazing. It's a really fascinating. I want to segue across. We're definitely coming back into business, but I want to segue across because the thing that inspires me, and that I actually get you to send me videos privately that I can show to my sons, right, about how you can live life. Now, at the time, now we're in Phuket, Thailand, and we're scuba diving, and we sail, and we motorbike. He's broken his leg on a motocross bike already, the little bugger, so he's inside with a broken leg, but how extreme do you go and how broad you go is crazy, right? Let's walk through what people can do, and then what does that mean to you? Like, what do you get out of that?
I've had 2 near-death experiences. I've been resuscitated twice. I had a 30-foot fall snowboarding where I literally kicked myself in the back of my head with my snowboard, and I have L1 through 5 burst fracture. So I have a titanium spine, and I broke my C2 in my neck. When I woke up from surgery, the nurse was like, "We're very sorry, sir. We had to alleviate your sternum." Didn't have any idea what that meant until I had to throw up from my pain medication. And when I realized that every rib in my sternum was broken and I cried like a little girl, I realized what the term alleviate your sternum was, because they had to give me CPR. I had that one. And then I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I have a scar from here to here where I have 70 staples where I severed my median artery, or my brachial artery and my median nerve. I had 100% tear. I had blood squirting 10 feet out. Your artery, they give you 3 minutes to live. If you sever an artery, it was 40 minutes.
Oh, we lost the sound. Oh, yeah, there you go.
There we go. I had a call come in. So
the call comes in.
It was 45 minutes for me to get in the ICU. And this was a year after I broke my neck. But let's backtrack a little bit and where this kind of all started. I mean, I've always been kind of an adrenaline junkie, but where I really started to grab life was I was sitting in my van. Now I was self-employed, me in a neck brace. Hey, I'm here to clean your windows, like a fucking idiot. Oh, it's a precautionary measure, like bull riders, right? Just whatever bullshit that I could put out there. So I didn't have Aflac. Like I'm fucked if I'm not getting paid. I'm going under. And, so I'm climbing. I would have people set my ladders for me because I had a broken back. I had buddies of mine that were scared of heights. They would set my ladders for me, and I would climb up there and squeegee the window and come back, and then they'd move my ladder for me. And this went on for a couple months while I was healing. And I remember one day I was in my van, and I pull up to a grocery store to get lunch, and I was just having a pity party, just feeling sorry for myself. Nothing's going right. Woe is me. I got a horrible life. And this minivan pulls up next to me, and the door opens, and this guy gets out of the van with a wheelchair, steering it with his tongue. And at that moment, I broke into tears, because I was like, who am I? Who am I? That guy would give anything to have my shitty problems and my shitty life and everything that I think is horrible right now. He would give everything for my body. And I, by all means, should be where that man is sitting. I was told that I was a medical walking miracle and I was micromillimeters away from becoming a quadriplegic in a wheelchair. And it broke me. That right there broke me. And I was like, you know what? From that day forward, I don't have bad days. There's no such thing. If I have 2 arms and 2 legs, I am so blessed and I am so capable. And now let's go see what this shit can do. Let's go have some fun. I've always been an adrenaline junkie. And from pretty much when I've almost been taken out a couple times. And I was like, well, if it doesn't kill me, it's going to make me stronger. Let's do this. Like, this is fun. Let's go have fun. And, I'm also a firm believer that there's nothing by chance. The universe has a set route for things. And when your card's pulled, your card's pulled. And I'm pretty sure my mind keeps telling me that when my card's pulled, I'm going to trip over a staircase or I'm going to walk down a curb and it's going to be the dumbest shit ever.
Simple,
something so simple is what's going to take me out. And that's just the way it is. And I want to experience as many fucking things as I can in between that time. Like, I want to try everything. And if it scares me, that's even better, because the more I get scared, the more I feel alive. Wing walking. I mean, that right there, that adrenaline rush. There was.
We've got a picture of that. We've pulled that. This is Augie wing walking, and he does a roll, right?
Oh yeah, you do full aerobatics when you're in the air. So with that whole trip, you get in the cockpit of this 1942 Boeing Stearman biplane, and you're on the tarmac, and you guys take off, and then you get to 5,000 feet, and the pilot gives you a wing wag. And you look back and he gives you a thumbs up. And so from there, you climb out of the cockpit and you have to come up behind some guide wires. And then you get to the T that's sitting on top of the wing. And there's 2 stirrups where you put your feet in. And then you reach behind you like this, and there's a lap belt. And you cinch your lap belt like this. And then you reach back and you give the pilot a thumbs up. When you give that pilot a thumbs up, you start into your aerobatics. So he starts a dive, and you dive about 3,000 feet. And then you go into a giant loop. And then you keep that momentum where you're pulling about 3 Gs in that loop. And then you hit the bottom of the loop, you go up, and then you go what's into called a hammerhead, where you come up and then the biplane stalls. And then you fall back to earth. And then you come out of it inverted, and then you come back up, and then you start doing barrel rolls. Oh yeah, it's full aerobatics while you're on the wing of a plane. And I've been great white shark diving in Africa. I've been skydiving. I've done the world's largest bungee jump. I've raced cars, I've raced dirt bikes. I mean, you name it. I've chased that adrenaline, and that right there was the creme de la creme. It was the very top-notch, so much so to where I actually had to create a business mastermind event and get a bunch of other dumbasses in.
You did. I know. That was my next question.
Yeah, we did a business master, because I was like, how can Uncle Sam pay for this? How can I make this tax deductible? Oh, we'll do a business event. And so I created a mastermind event. I had 7 companies from all over the United States fly out. We rented a waterfront house in Washington, and we did the wing walking mastermind event. And everybody did it. And it was absolutely – I had one guy, Jacob Daly, swore up and down. He's like, I am not getting on the wing of that airplane. No way. No, I'm coming for the mastermind event, and that was it. And then we get to the airport, and we're doing our safety training, because you train for like 4 hours to do this, to where you could literally put a blindfold on and do it with no problem. So he's going through the training. He's like, well, the training's pretty solid. He goes, I'm scared of heights. I might do it. And we're like, you don't have to do it. But I'm like, don't be a pussy. Do it. I'm just giving him peer pressure and low blows at the same time, right? Like, come on, I'm never going to let you live this shit down if you don't do this. So he actually did it, and he came down. And the look on his face was worth every dollar that I had spent. Because that was something that I caused. Like, I just did that. And he was like, dude, I fucking did that. No way. Like, yes. Like, he goes, there was nothing like that. And I'm like, I'm getting high off of him being high. And we're all getting just massive endorphin rushes. Like, our dopamine levels are just racked out. And every time somebody landed, that's why anytime we do this now, I'm literally renting the entire facility, and everybody that does it is going to be somebody that I know, because I get my dopamine kick when I'm up there, but then when they land, I'm getting reuptakes. As I'm watching them, like my dopamine's racking because I'm feeding off of them, and I'm like, bro, it's 10 hours of just maxed out dopamine rushes. So yeah, it's a blast.
Wow. Okay, so
Highly recommended.
ripple effect, Augie, ripple effect on the wing walk. We're translating across you as a dad, you as a business owner, you as a working person, you know, you as an individual, you know, just Augie inside Augie. You know, what is that like? How does it translate past the day?
I mean, it just is what it is. You know, that's just my
Okay,
personal.
that's you.
I'm very much go big or go home. You know, I have to do shit massively huge. That's where, you know, if it's not big enough, it doesn't have my interest. So I want to take stuff to the 10th degree and go all in. It's like, you know, bidding my big commercial. I try and chase really large commercial projects because the more complex it is, the more intriguing it is. Like small residential now, I'm bored with it. And I'm like, well, that's not fun. I don't even want to play with that. It's not complicated enough. There's not enough problems for me. Like I need problems. I like all this intricate moving parts and pieces to things. And that's what keeps me engaged, and it keeps my attention. And I'm like, oh, that's fun. That's shiny. Let's go do this. But, you know, with the wing walking and all that, I mean, it's just, it's my personality. It's who I am.
That's amazing.
Extreme sports. Luckily, I have a very supportive wife that is okay with it. She doesn't give me any shit.
She's pretty amazing, right?
She's an amazing mom. You know, she stays home, raises the babies, and you know, luckily
I'll show
now.
you this. I have a big bitch on the books, 4 city blocks worth.
I don't know if we ever did that one.
That's
no, I think I did.
2018. 2018.
I think I did that one.
6 years ago.
Yeah, I think I did that one.
Yeah.
I got an even bigger bitch on right now. I mean, now we're doing 7-figure contracts now. I got jobs lined up for 7-figure contracts, and it's absolutely it's a blessing.
Yeah, that's very exciting.
It's absolutely very incredible. Exciting. You know, we're having a blast with it. Yeah, that's why I'm here in St. Louis. I'm at the Trans World Convention for Christmas decoration and Halloween decoration. One of my big contracts said they wanted to go big for Halloween. And I was like, well, there just happens to be the largest Halloween convention in the world happening in Springfield, Missouri this weekend. So I literally bought a plane ticket yesterday, and I was on an airplane at 3:30 in the morning, and I flew out to St. Louis unexpectedly and came here to this event. And I've been networking and having a blast and looking at, now we're going to start doing haunted houses. I got some plans for doing some really, really big haunts and just production level type, professional level shit that is going to be incredible. Wow. And that's where, you know, it's funny. My business is really shifting, and we're really I'm on a river of cash right now, and I'm just going wherever this river of cash takes me. Where, I mean, I'm hiring entertainers. I had, you know, models show up. I'm hiring models. I'm doing all this crazy interior decorating stuff. And we're also doing high-rise rope access cleaning. So what I'm looking at is we're kind of morphing out of the residential zone, and we're getting more into the high-end decoration and complex cleaning, where we're doing rope access cleaning, and we're washing parking garages, and we're doing building washes. We're doing this massive, you know, these tickets that are paying, you know, mid 6 figures plus, and then the decorating is, you know, mid 6 figures into 7 figures. And that's kind of where I'm really navigating my company into. And, you know, my guys are all Sprat level 1 rope access trained now. I got a guy right now that's up in Detroit going to a master draping class so we can learn how to do interior draping like Disneyland does. You know, and that's a big thing with business is opportunity knocks very lightly, and it knocks once. And if you capitalize on that opportunity and you just grab that rope and see where it takes you, it can take you to some really, really amazing places. And you can't really be, I know there's guys that say, don't go chasing waterfalls, right? Like the concrete coating, I almost got sucked into that waterfall, and I'm so lucky. I'm like, I don't want any part of that. But if your gut tells you to go somewhere and you get an opportunity and all of a sudden you start going down this road, just go with it. You know, see where it's going to take you. Just don't be scared.
Especially,
There's nothing to be scared about.
I love what you said, because you have to. It's the same as lending money. We are talking to Michael Hindelite about this last night. It's like, in my opinion, it's like lending money. Like, you never lend more than what you can afford to lose,
100%,
to a friend. And when you get a business opportunity, you never invest in it more than what you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
So that if you're cashed up, and that's the power why cash is king. When you're cashed up, you can go wild, following down a rabbit hole, let's call it,
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is that there's a basic principle in business is, your sunk cost fallacy, understanding that there is a sunk cost fallacy that's going to be playing with your brain, and it's going to compel you that you need to keep going down a rabbit hole. But actually, at any time, you can just reverse out and get back out of your rabbit hole and say, that was fun or that wasn't fun. And
I don't want to
carry
play
on.
this game anymore. It's not fun. I'm out. See ya.
You got it. Yeah. But the key is
you have
cash.
to know when to pull that eject button too, because a lot of people don't have a quit button, and they will just beat that dead horse until they're bankrupt.
Yes.
Like, you got to realize a bad investment and cut your losses. That's definitely something that I don't even know if you can teach that. I don't think it's a teachable thing. I think that's something that you're just born with.
Usually, in my experience, it's going bust a couple of times kind of helps.
Yeah, I mean, the school of hard knocks will teach it. Definitely, because that's back to eating that thing that tasted like shit. If it tastes like shit, you're probably not going to do it again. So that's why, I've been through. I started from nothing. I mean, I was homeless for 5 years. I moved up from California to Washington with a backpack. I had absolutely nothing. I've literally had breakfast out of a dumpster before, right? Like, I literally am from the streets. I started from absolute shit. But I'm really thankful for that, because it's carved out the person that I am and the resilience that I have, and I have more experience with things that a lot of people don't, and I don't take things for granted like people do, like breaking my neck and my back. Like, I am so grateful that that happened. And I'm really grateful that it healed the way that it did, but the insight that it gave me and the perspective that it gave me, nobody else has. I mean, there might be a few people walking this earth that have been given that second chance, but to be that close to death and that close to paralysis, but have 100% recovery, and to have that insight that those people would have, invaluable to where, it changes your perspective, and it really makes the whole game of life shrunk down to one, like, oh, no, this is all this other bullshit around here does not matter. I have one trajectory and that's it. And we're going this way. And I always tell everybody in my admin, and I'm like, look, we're like the Kool-Aid man. We're going to bust through the door. Oh yeah. It's brute force and ignorance shall prevail. And that's how we're getting there. And that's how we've gotten there. I mean, there's a lot of guys that do like excessive planning on business and stuff like that. And I'm just like,
the hardcore planner.
Yes.
And
it works. I mean, that's my take on business. We just bust the door down and take it. Like, oh yeah. I don't know how we got here, but we're here. And now we're going to do this. I don't know how we're going to do this yet, but we're going to find out. It was like when I did my first interior Christmas decoration this year. And I have never done interior Christmas decorating before in my life. I'm way too straight for this shit. So I'm bidding this job, and luckily I had my operations manager with me. We're bidding with 10 other companies, and we're doing this walk with the client. And I'm watching these guys, and they have their phone in, and they're taking a picture of what this place wants, and they're going, okay, a Christmas tree. I'm watching them take their notes, and they're just receiving what this client is asking for. Meanwhile, I'm going, you got this giant foyer here. Can I hang shit from your ceiling? Can I do this? Can I do that? I'm painting this picture, and I'm taking them down the road that I want to go. So I completely distract them from the group, and my operations manager and I identify the two key players in this, and we take them and we corral them. And I just step on everybody's toes because I'm like the Kool-Aid man. Boom, this is mine. And then not ever doing interior decoration. I'm like, okay, well, now what do we do? Now, I'm a firm believer that the universe is not by chance, right? There's design in everything. And I go to my local watering hole, which I know it's a small town little dive bar, right? And I go there and I grab a beer. and there's a new bartender. And I'm like, whoa, never seen you before. She's like, oh, hey, how you doing? It was 105 degrees out that day, which is really rare for the Pacific Northwest. She goes, oh, you able to stay cool out there? I'm like, yeah. I was bidding them up. I was bidding this business for interior Christmas decoration. She goes, really? She goes, I was a tree decorator for 10 years. And I'm like, you don't say.
Way.
She goes, yeah, I used to do the Columbia Tower and the Roosevelt and all these really high-end venues in Seattle. And I'm like,
No.
are you interested in side work? She goes, 100%. And I said, okay. What are you doing tomorrow? Because we had gotten our customers' attention so much so that they had contacted us for a private one-on-one bid walk. They wanted all the other distractions out. These other 10 companies out. They wanted a one-on-one with us because we had gotten their attention. And that was me literally grabbing them like a horse with a bridle, and we're going this way. Like, I'm taking you on a ride. This is what I want to do. I understand that you guys want this interior decorating stuff done, but here's what I want to do for you. And we just kind of corralled them to where we piqued their interest, and they came to us and they wanted a one-on-one. And I said, well, what are you doing tomorrow? And she goes, absolutely nothing. And I'm like, you're putting on my shirt. We're going on a bid walk. And the three of us went down there, and she became my interior decorator. Because, I mean, when it comes, like, I can hang Christmas lights. I'm good with that. But when you start talking about ribbon, and you start talking about flowers, and you start talking about all the stuff that females are really good at, we're good. And so now I have this joke of be really careful with Christmas decorations, because it's going to start with Christmas lights. And before you know it, you're going to have arguments with your wife on what fucking color of ribbon that you guys should have ordered for the presents. You're going to be straight eyes for the queer guys really quick. It's going to go downhill. And all of a sudden now you're a decorator. I'm like, what? Why am I here? It pays really well. So, okay, we're good. And also, it's not 35 degrees and raining outside. I have bathrooms, and there's also a food court inside. So this is really nice. Like, I can do this all day long. But, it's funny how when the universe puts something in your lane, run with it and don't be scared. Yeah. Because what's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to fail. Myron Golden has this game that I heard him talking about, and it's absolutely genius. And it's 13 no's in a row. Try and fail 13 times in a row.
Oh, and interesting.
It's going to set you up for, a lot of people are scared of rejection, right? So if you're scared of rejection, like, that's the perfect game to play. Throw your ass in there and go ham at it until you're not scared of rejection anymore. It's like if you're scared of heights, go climb up something and look down, and you're going to be scared. Get over yourself with that. And that 13 no's in a row. The same thing with like 13 failures in a row, because eventually you're going to figure it out, because it's not a fail unless you give up, right? If it's it's a slight inconvenience, it's a slight problem, but it's a major learning opportunity. Every time something doesn't go right, like my bucket truck rolling today, major learning opportunity. There's a lot of things that I realized that we have not implemented that we should have. And we're going to have a massive safety meeting about this. And it's a big education point for the company. Thank fucking God nobody got hurt. That's my one thing. I'm like, man, that could have been really, really bad. The other saying I have is, no matter how bad it is, it can always be worse. So it's really not that bad.
Yes.
Not that bad.
Yes, that from your own, the guy who got out of the van in the wheelchair.
100%. And that's where that's where I look. I'm like, it could always be worse, no matter how bad it is. Somebody somewhere is going through the exact same thing that you are, only 10 times worse. And they're eating a shit sandwich while you have maybe expired bologna, and you're thinking your expired bologna is horrible. Meanwhile, like, they have corn in their poop, and it's it's really bad, right? So it could always be worse.
Hey, Augie, I want to pick your brains on something which has come up, which is something that's just played on my mind personally, because I also had a very troubled childhood and went through some horrific experiences. And so now, obviously, I've got 4 kids. 3 of them are adults. Harrison's running the Reach It company. He's doing all that now, and I'm here in Thailand looking after Ollie. But when you were talking about, how those early days and the difficult days, and you're really happy that they've happened to you, all the things that you've struggled with and all the things that have gone wrong, they add to the character. They add to the the determination. I mean, you've, as you said in the intro, like you've seen me. I mean, I'm determined to get to perfect, but I'm not perfect. Well, I'm determined to have a go, but I can't be sure I'm right, on the way. But feedback is uncomfortable, but it's incredibly powerful. And then so when we look at this thing, and then you've got, how old are your kids now?
3 and 10 months. So I got
Okay,
babies.
they're tiny, right?
Yeah.
So mine's 37, 32, 31, and 12, right?
And that for me, that's going to
Here's,
happen tomorrow. It's
oh
that
yeah.
quick.
And here's the thing, knowing how valuable it is to have a horrible childhood life, but knowing that you now have what you never had, what your parents couldn't give you, you've got everything which you
Mm-hmm.
didn't have, and you would never hurt your children on purpose. How? And maybe they're too young for you to have actually taken the time to consider this yet. But how do you give your kids?
So
You know what
the
I'm trying
way
to ask?
that, as I was growing up, I was always really jealous of kids that had it really good. And I've known these kids since I was in high school, and I've watched their success to where, they're uber successful, and there's giving kids things easy creates spoiled kids, right? So there's nothing, as we grow with my daughters, nothing is going to be easy. Everything is going to have to be worked for. But like, I'm going to teach them things that I was never taught: fiscal responsibility. I was never taught, how to balance. I had no idea what a P&L was until a few years ago. And these are things like I'm going to instill in my kids. I'm going to train them to be entrepreneurs if that's the way they want to go. I mean, we're going to homeschool, but if they want to go entrepreneur, if they want to go college prep and be a doctor or a lawyer, whatever. Honestly, I think unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, there's really no reason to go to college.
I agree.
And
or
we'll
just
see where that gets
do it online. That's what I'm thinking for Ollie is, okay, mum wants you to get a degree. How about we just do it online, and then you can do 6 weeks on campus, 6 weeks a year. You go on campus to Australia or somewhere like that. 5 years to do your degree instead of 3, but work your ass off in the middle.
I'm
student debt.
a firm believer that the soul is here to experience it. So there's this whole thing that I'm studying called Kabbalah. I don't know if you know what Kabbalah is. It predates religion, and it's ancient. Like, I'm not Jewish, but my business coach is, and he's the one that kind of turned me on to this. And this predates Judaism. It predates all religion. And it's essentially the way that the universe works. And it's essentially going on the premise that the soul is eternal, and the soul will interject itself, and the soul needs to come experience different things. And I'm really hoping that my daughters don't have to experience what my soul had to experience, but apparently the shit that my soul has gone through was something that my soul had to experience. And once it leaves my body, it will go in to do another thing. That's a completely different discussion for a completely different topic. It can get really fucking deep with that.
I concur. By the way, I concur.
Yeah, it's an absolute amazing philosophy. And the more that I dig into this, and having a business coach that aligns with this is uber powerful, because there's the whole manifestation of things, which has, I was talking to JC tonight. I'm like, I have a thing where when I say something, if you build it, they will come, right? Just like the old movie. If you build it, they will come. And I was talking to him, I said, the first cab over flatbed truck that I built that I could not afford, I had to borrow 10 grand from my girlfriend, and she bought that truck. We didn't have any money. And she's like, we can't afford this. I said, we can't afford not to have this, because we are building this truck to wash neighborhoods. This truck is going to wash neighborhoods. And I just kept saying that over and over and over again. I shit you not, the second I turned the key on the power washer to test everything, an HOA called me to wash their neighborhood. And I got a $15,000 job the day I finished that truck, and it paid for it. And then we started washing neighborhoods after that. Manifestation is amazing. And it's, it may be some hippy dippy bullshit, and I never ever believed in it until it started. And I'm like, wait, well, maybe there's something to this. Because I always, with Christmas lights, I was like, I want to do large scale commercial. That's all I want to do. Large scale commercial. We got our first $500,000 job this year. Large scale commercial. It worked. I'm kind of turning more into like, well, maybe that isn't hippy dippy bullshit. Maybe that is. And then I started studying this Kabbalah stuff,
Yep.
and I'm like, well, that really makes sense. Okay. It was like somebody hit a squeegee across a foggy window. But going back
Wow.
into, my kids having the rough life, I'm really hoping that their souls aren't programmed into needing those experiences. As far as how I'm going to raise them, nothing's going to be easy. They're going to have to work for everything. There's not going to be any handouts. I don't want to spoil them and show them that, life is easy, because it's not. Nothing in life is easy. And honestly, when everything is, so my wife's parents own Keller Supply. Keller Supply is one of the largest plumbing distributors in the United States. He's got a waterfront house right next to Bill Gates, $15 million waterfront house. And his kids are absolute silver spoon. Like, they go and hang out with the Nordstrom children, right?
Wow.
I mean, we're talking white collar. I mean, money that I'll never see. Generational wealth, like Rockefeller type money.
Yeah.
These people are so fucking miserable. I have never seen people so miserable in my life, because when it's easy, there's nothing more to chase, right? Half the fun in life is the chase. Because once
the joy is in the journey, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Once you get the mouse,
they're born into the destination.
Everybody that I've known that is uber wealthy is uber miserable, because
I've
they've
had
already
the same experience.
achieved. They've already achieved.
Yep.
They've already come, and they've got everything they need. What else is there?
Yep. What else is there?
You can only travel around so much. You can only go on vacation so much before that's absolutely the last thing you want to do. Right? Your journey's in the struggle. You have to struggle. You have to have the bitter in order to have the sweet. Otherwise, it just doesn't. It doesn't work. And
I think the other thing which I concluded is that these people that I've met like that as well and worked with alongside and everything, like quite closely. So I'm not talking like just a long distance view of the people like you. You've got a close contact with these people, so you're talking from real, first person experience. Is that when people become uber wealthy, they basically, there's this vacuum in which they live, which is between the fear of loss and the greed for more.
Yeah.
So they get this greed and fear.
I want
to do this, but I'm scared I'll lose.
You have no friends anymore. Nobody, the only thing that is people want you for your money. There is no more actual friendship. That's gone. So now you're stripped of that. And then you have the vacuum that you're saying. So there's this vortex of garbage that is just depleting your soul. It's the last thing.
And your identity, when your identity, the one thing about going bust, I've never been bankrupt, but I've been bust several, I've been without money several times.
Oh, it's good for you.
Yeah. Like peanut butter sandwiches for the kids for dinner. That's
ramen, baby. Prison soups. Let's go.
But what that teaches you is that you are not your bank account. Yeah. You're not your bank account. And when you get that, like the luckiest thing in the world is to get that distinction that you are not your bank account. But those people who are born into mega wealth can never have that. They can never go through that sieve, and have their soul, through that sieve and come out the other side and go, oh, this is me without my bank account, and I'm an eccentric genius, creative, spiritual being having a human experience, whatever, Yeah. Wow. Well, that's fascinating, isn't it? So I know, Ben, I want to show some of the crazy things you've done. One time you sent me a video, or I don't know, maybe you beamed me in, but you were riding, where were you, in Colorado or something, in the mountains, and you were riding along a track that was all of a foot wide. And
no, that's my backyard.
Okay. So you sent me this one. I said, can you send me a video of what you're doing? These are your snow bikes, right?
Yeah, these are dirt bikes that we put snow kits on. This is literally my backyard. I take a right out of my driveway, and then I go up the hill. I get 5 feet of snow a year at my house, so I can ride right out of my house if I wanted to. But yeah, this is what I do in the wintertime. And it's an absolute blast. And then summertime, we got dirt bikes, and we ride dirt bikes on the same terrain.
Because remember, I was at the time, I'm about to buy a couple of dirt bikes here, petrol ones. But at the time in China, we have the electric one, the motocross, the little electric motocrosses. And you talk to me, that'll never work where I live, which is true.
You have the range is limited. I mean, they have
Yeah.
Oh God, what's the Stark Varg is the new badass dirt bike. It's like 8 or 9K for this thing, and it's 80 horsepower. 80 freaking horsepower of like not even linear. I mean, it's pow, it's there.
Wow.
It's
No
nuts.
way.
But you have literally like 15 miles is your range. And when we go
Oh,
riding,
God.
I mean, I've done 80, 90 mile rides before where I have to pack fuel. I have my main tank, I have a reserve tank, and then I'm packing fuel just to get back.
Wow.
And even then, we're probably still pushing our bikes the last 15 feet before we get to my house. You know, we go on these massive mountain rides, and everybody's just beat to shit afterwards, and it's absolutely incredible. We love it. And the same thing with the snow bikes. You know, we get out there and we do probably 45, 50 miles, and we're up on ridge lines where the hills are like this.
Yeah, you seriously got 300, 400, 500 foot drops, you know, a foot away from where your bike is, you know?
Yeah. No, we do some crazy stuff. I do a lot of research on my avalanche conditions. We go out and I'll assess our conditions. We'll dig snow pits and we'll actually do snow load tests and make sure our snow is compacted, you know, where our slide zone is, if this is going to be an unstable slope. We're also very aware of what facing aspect we're on. If it's a south facing aspect, you know, we're going to tread really lightly. If we're on a north facing aspect that we know the exposure is going to be a little bit less, we could probably get up and ride that a little bit more. South facing, we tend to stay away from. I mean, that's why there's a clothing brand called the North Face and not the South Face.
Nice. There you go.
So, you know, we try to be as educated as possible, but unfortunately, like we just had 2 fatalities last week from avalanches. It happens every year. We lose at least 2 people, if not 5 a year for avalanche.
Wow.
It's just one of those
things. And is
things.
it hikers and skiers and
snowmobile
guys?
A lot of snowmobilers will trigger them. You get a lot of guys that have equipment that will take them into places that they shouldn't be without the education of being there. They don't have the avalanche training. Like I've been through avalanche classes, and you know I know how to read my snow. I know how to read my conditions and things like that. We have a website called NWAC, Northwest Avalanche Association. You can get on that website. It'll give you the current avalanche predictions. And it's got a series of colors from green to black, black being the absolute worst. When it's black, you don't come back. When it's red, it's time to shred. No, we don't go when it's red. I'll get up and do when it's orange and considerable. That's when I'm riding low risk, low elevation stuff. When it's green, that's when we start to get into the super steep stuff. And I can literally be on my bike on a hill that steep, and I can be on my bike like this and just cut right through it and right up to the ridge. Wow. Those things are mountain goats. But it's a hell of a workout. I mean, they weigh 350 pounds, and there's a lot of times where we are playing hike-a-bike, where you have to drag these things up through trees, and you got to move the, because it's not all rainbows and unicorns getting there. Right? There's a lot of struggle to get there, but man, the views and the payoff is absolutely incredible. And I'm pissed because I was supposed to be riding yesterday. It's one of the best. It was Bluebird Day. We just got 3 feet of powder. I haven't had one good ride this year. The snow hasn't been that great. I've been really busy with work. I had planned on Thursday. I was going out with a group of friends, and we were going to go out to this place called Gallagher Lake and Hawkins Ridge, which is one of the most amazing places and most awesome zones to go to. And then I got word that one of my customers wants to go big for Halloween. So I literally had to fly out and cancel from all my friends. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go. I'm sorry, guys. I got to go to work. I got to go learn myself some stuff. No. And yeah, so I didn't get to ride, but it's okay. The snow will be around for a little bit longer.
But the interesting thing,
once a year.
Yeah, if I draw the parallel, I mean, the way you've approached, snow riding is pretty similar to what you're doing today. Like you've got this new opportunity.
Yeah,
right. Before you do this new opportunity, I need to get as much data, get my shit together, like as much as I can
full throttle.
Before I can, right.
Full throttle, because that's how I'm going to get the most out of everything, right? It's apply 100%, no matter what it is that I'm doing. Like I am going to,
but not with ignorance, right? Not with ignorance.
No, you got to be educated about it. Yeah, quick thinking, but educated. Educated at the same time.
I always say
I'm processing.
Some people say a quick decision is a bad decision, but I say no, it's not a quick decision is a bad decision. It's an uneducated decision is a bad decision. My job is to load you up. But if I can load you up with a load of education. Yeah.
If you sit on things and you let them pass by, like that could
Oh
be the
God.
worst move of your life, because that ship's already sailed and it's gone, and that could
Yeah.
have been one hell of an opportunity. This $500,000 job that we got when we initially qualified them, the first words out of my mouth is, "What's your budget?" And they said $30K. And I'm like, I don't want to do it. My gut said, go bid them. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go bid them. So we got there, and when I pulled them aside, I'm like, okay, look, this stuff costs money, and I unfortunately we have to have this conversation. And I said, your budget's $30K. Where do you want your one tree? And they go, And I'm like, some of these trees can cost upwards of $10,000 to $15,000 for fully decorated interior. Like, you're talking some big money. And once I pulled them aside, that's when they're like, okay, well, this area here has $30K, and this area here has $90K, and this area here has $60K. I'm like, okay, now we're talking. So, yeah, grab that handful of throttle, hit it full on, bust through it. Don't be scared about stuff. I mean, what's worse they're going to do? They're going to say, no, you're going to fail. Okay. But did you die?
Yeah.
No. Pick your pieces up. I had bid a job like this the year before, and I failed miserably at it. And by failing miserably at that bid, I was able to take all the parts and pieces that I was lacking from the first time and apply them to the second time. And had I won the first job, it would have been bad. It was way out of my realm. It was way too big for me. There's no way in hell I could have pulled this off. It would have been I was going to have to buy.
It was black zone, right?
Oh man, I would have been underwater on that job. I would have had to broker like 4 different companies and buy their entire season for Christmas light installation just to pull this off. I didn't have the manpower to do it, didn't have the experience to do it. So I'm like, I am so grateful that I didn't win that job. And when I applied everything from that job that I lost to this next job that I was qualified for, I won it. And it's like the universe is like, okay, we're just testing you here. And now we're going to throw you one that's actually going to stick. So here you go. And you're set up for this. And then we hit the ground running, and now we're good. Now we're doing all their decoration. I mean, we did Chinese New Year. We did the grand opening for them. They have an anniversary coming up. We did that. We have a stage that they have every month. We decorate their stage. We have 21 stories of windows that we're doing right now. We have a parking garage that we're washing for them. We have 750,000 square feet of metal roof to wash coming up. It's the never-ending gobstopper of jobs.
Wow.
And it really helps with hyper growth mode, because when you're in that trajectory, it's like this. I'm just consistently like, how should we spend this month? Oh God, this is ridiculous. Okay, well, it's okay. We'll get right through it. We keep getting these checks coming in. I'm like, well, that went quick, but hey, we can do it again.
We can do it again. You sound like Mr. Beast for our industry. He goes,
making chocolate bars.
That's it. Amazing. Well, buddy, I reckon it's 10 o'clock, and I sometimes we go over, but I think we've pretty much covered, like what we want to cover. Is unless there's something else. Like let's just say this: what if somebody's like super young in business and hasn't got to the point where they can actually put cash aside yet, or they've got a young family which is sucking that cash?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a chapter like that? I mean, is it just a case of not being impatient and just waiting?
When I was cash poor, like,
so guys are listening to you, and it goes, I'm going to go, but they don't have the cash. And if you don't have the cash, then you're really, you're punting the house.
I sold. If any time that I didn't have the cash, like I remember one time when I was early on in business and I was broke, and I would literally go to strip malls and I would go door to door. Hey, I'll wash your guys' windows for $20. Well, before I knew it, I had $500 in my pocket. There was never a time. Once I became self-employed, I had a magical wallet that never dried up, because it was up to me to fill it. And it was pretty easy because everybody needed their windows cleaned. I could walk door to door in strip malls, and I would start building these routes where I would go weekly, and I would clean these things at like $10 a window or $20 a window, whatever, cheap. But those added up, and I was able to hustle. I've always been a hustler, and I always try to think outside the box. Okay, well, this isn't working. Well, how do we apply it? We'll do this, and that's not working. Okay. And I found my streams that it's like you take spaghetti at the wall and you keep throwing it until a noodle sticks. You're like, ooh, that one stuck. All right, we're putting that one in the bag. Then you grab another hand of spaghetti, you throw it out at the wall, and you're like, okay, well, none of that stuck, but there's half a noodle. Okay, we're going to put this in the maybe pile and do it again. Oh, there's another noodle, right? So that's kind of how I've figured out what works and what doesn't, just trying stuff. But yeah, no, being short on cash, I mean, the only solution to that is just to go sell your way out of the hole. All it takes is a little bit of door knocking and go for those 13 no's in a row, right? See if you can go hit that. Because I guarantee you, if you are shooting for 13 no's in a row, there's going to be a couple of yeses in there. There's going to be a payday. And that's all it takes. You know, there's no greater motivator in life than being broke. If you are broke, if you don't have shit, you don't have a pot to piss in, there's only one way to go. And you know where you need to go. And it's either you're going to go work for somebody else and, you know, build their dream for them, or you're going to build your dream for you. And you just hustle. You just have to, you know, just persevere and get through it and hustle and sell, which would go to Sales Boost. If you're, there's a shameless plug for Sales Boost.
No, definitely do it.
Dude, Sales Boost was an absolute game changer for my business. I think I was like between 300,000 and 500,000 solo on a truck. And once I did Sales Boost is when we hit about 800K. And I started having employees. I literally almost doubled what I had. The processes that I was able to retain from Sales Boost were invaluable. Absolutely incredible. Plus I did Sales Boost on site, which paid for itself tenfold because I think I brokered a $30,000 roof wash and a $10,000 window clean out of that $7,000 that I paid. So yeah, it was a no-brainer. I think you guys got JC coming on up. JC's an amazing guy. And you know what Pat's created and what JC is stepping into is an absolutely amazing thing. I don't know how people haven't heard about it, but I have a guy, I'm sending one of my guys that is going to be my new sales guy I'm sending him out to attend Sales Boost because I'm that much of a believer in it. You know, I'm alumni of it. I went through it, and so much so to where now it's a sales boot camp for my guys. And anytime I have a sales guy, they're going to go in through Sales Boost because it's just the culture, the processes and systems that they have are incredible. So that's another thing. If you're struggling for money,
I'm so glad you segued to that, because that was going to be my next question. Is like because I thought you mentioned before that you have a mentor, right? And you mentioned Kabbalah. How do you spell Kabbalah, by the way? Kabala?
Yeah, Kabbalah. Kabbalah.
Oh God, I'd never have got that. Kabb. Okay, I got it.
ALAH.
So, Augie, explain the power of a mentor, because you're go, and somebody might look at you and say, dude, like, you know, you're already cracking it, right? So, but what does a mentor do? You know?
Oh man, you know, the single most powerful thing, the one common denominator between mega successful people is they all have coaches. They all invest back in themselves. You know, and Conquer was an amazing thing for me. So that's something that, you know, your level one businesses I would highly recommend that. And, you know, guys that are still on the truck, look into Conquer. Conquer was one of the things that helped me get off the truck. The Conquer group was absolutely incredible. That got me from level 1 to level 3 of business in 2 short years. It was absolutely incredible. That teamed in with Sales Boost. But, you know, having somebody that is 10x what you are and knows all of the pain points from point A to point B to get you to where they're kind of at, like you need that person that's been through it, right? Because you don't know what you know unless you know. And if you have somebody that already knows that, it's like buying the cheat codes for a video game. Like if I want to play Grand Theft Auto, I can sit there and struggle bus all day long. But if I'm like, you know, I want to fuck around and see how fun this game, let's get some cheat codes. Oh, look at that. I got never ending lives and I can fly my helicopter into buildings. And like, this is amazing. It's like having superpowers. And by having a mentor and a coach that's already been through those motions, essentially that's what you're buying. You're buying cheat codes and you're shortening that learning curve because life is really short, right? Yeah. And the greatest, most valuable thing in life is time. So if you can shorten your time to get from point A to point B in success, it's a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you? That was probably the single most incredible thing that I ever did. And once you start to get into coaching, you learn that you're not working on your business. That's not what you're here for. You're here to work on yourself. It's all inward. So you start to work on yourself internally. Because I mean, 10 years ago, I was a hot mess and a shit show, and I was on the top of the Child's Hill for Dunning-Kruger curve because the world revolved around me. And then once I started getting into coaching, and I realized, well, okay, no, the world doesn't revolve around me. I'm just some idiot. I'm Bucket Bob Chuck on a truck, and I don't know absolutely anything. I really need to look inward, because with growing a company, it's all about leadership, right? And the only place that I could lead myself was to the next watering hole to make some bad decisions. I couldn't lead myself anywhere. And if I can't lead myself, well, then how am I going to lead a crew of people? So I really had to reach inward and have inward growth and teach myself how to lead myself before I could expect anybody to follow what I was going to do. And that was coaching, you know, accountability. There's just so many aspects to it that benefit you. And you really take this inward journey of going down this rabbit hole for yourself. And then you come out this completely different person. And you're like, well, wow, that guy was an asshole 10 years ago. Sure glad I'm not him.
Yes. And I think, just to put that into perspective for people that can't, if you can't relate to how incredible it is that somebody who's been where you are can help you, just imagine, just think of anybody in your life who's 10 or 15 years younger that you advise. And there's this simple thing, like if I say Harrison, right? Harrison's 31, I'm 61, right? And I go to Harrison, I've been 31, you haven't been 61.
Yeah.
So even though I'm in a different generation and I grew up without mobile phones and, fax machines, were just coming out and stuff like that, that part is different. But the human experience, the maturing experience, the challenges, the choice of integrity over dishonesty, and the choice of not aberrating, and all these things. These are all the common experience since the Greek philosophers, and since the caveman.
Same horse, different color.
Different color. So, and then if anybody can think about that and then go, oh, well, that's what, when you get a mentor who's been where you are, that's what Augie defined, right? This guy is 10x where I am. He's been, in order to be that, he went through my crossroad junction, so he knows what it is to be this, but I don't know what it is to be that. And he helps me, right? And then you're starting to concertina time, compressed time.
You're shrinking that time down, and you're taking that learning curve from like this to a nice linear curve where it's not going to be such a drop off to where you're going to hang yourself because you failed in business so bad. It's not going to hurt that bad because you're alleviating all these mistakes because you got some guy that's already been through this shit, and he can be like, you don't want to go down that road. That's not going to end well for you. How about we take a look? Look at this shiny object over here. Put the blinders on. Let's look this way. Let's look this way. And you're like a racehorse going into the stable because the coach has blinders on you, and you're like, okay, there's my prize. I'm going this way. Like, oh, no, get those blinders back on. You just keep going. So
that's amazing. Amazing. Augie, it's a total pleasure, and I'm so glad that you said yes, so that I could enjoy every minute of an hour and 10 minutes. Yeah.
Well, hopefully I was a little PG for you guys.
Well, as I said to Ben, like
myself, so
you're pretty good, but you were talking my language, and I said to Ben, I used to be a youth pastor, and I do have a second vocabulary which has no cuss words in it, but my natural way of speaking is I'm a vulgar individual.
Yeah. Fuck is the best word in the English language because it is so versatile. You can use it for everything. So yeah.
But we're real, bro. We're real, so that's good. 100%. It is what it is.
Right on, guys. All right. Well, you all have a good night. I got a Christmas ball to go to. Apparently, they've decorated the ballroom like a casino, and I'm like, oh, really? So that's definitely
dude.
That strikes my
Send me
interest.
some videos, yeah. Send me some videos. We'll drop them up. We'll throw them in tomorrow. Tomorrow, Monday, right? Monday we've got Charles. Charles is an American guy, I think, or maybe English. But anyway, he moved to Japan and started a window cleaning business in Japan, of all places. So we got him on. That'll be interesting. Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, great. And, that's fantastic. I don't even know how to close out this one, Augie, because you're so much fun. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, guys.
See you, mate.
All right. See you, Augie.
Yes, bye.
Well, what a crazy lad. He's crazy.
Wow.
A lot of surgeries and Oh my gosh.
Yep.
He's a roller
Yeah.
coaster. If you want to ride a roller coaster, go with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Well, we want to thank everybody for joining tonight's show. It might have been a little bit of a roller coaster. Don't try this stuff at home, what he does, if you want to get,
Yeah.
broken legs and broken arms. So,
Broken necks. There
yes. We'll do our lasers.
we go. Yeah, lasers. I think the lasers is the best one, isn't it? This is an Apple feature. Anybody with an Apple can get to do this. Yeah.
Yep. Anybody with
Fantastic.
an Apple computer
Thank
can
you,
do
Ben.
this. Yes,
Yeah,
and if
Ben
you want to join
Berghoff
our
in the
show,
background.
if you want to join our show, please message us and please visit our website. We have a calendar page on our website now, so you can see upcoming events, and we also have a guest booking form. So if you know anybody that wants to be a guest, you can send them to the website, or if you want to be a guest, fill out the form and you can be our guest on our show. Anyways, that is it for tonight. We will catch you on Monday. Remember, there is no live stream tomorrow and Sunday. So, everybody have a great day.
Thanks, Ben.